No problem at all. So, in another word, when you forget about everything, nothing happens at all. See, then you just recognize this, the things come out later. See, when you just forget about everything, nothing happens. Nothing happens. No problem at all. Because nothing happens. Then you recognize this kind of situation, condition, whatever, the reality. Then things come out, things just come out. And the kind of trouble, suffering, the problem, question, at the same time come up. See? This causes us trouble. This causes us question. See? So what doesn't mean? Forget about everything. Forget about everything. Then when I say you'll be able to just forget everything, well, it's impossible to do. But before recognize the things, we forget about everything. There is nothing exists at all this time, right now, right here. These things you have to realize. You see, before recognition, nothing happened. Nothing happened. There is nothing exists. See, then you recognize the things. Then, as I just always mentioned, you see this. These things and this thing is completely divided by thinking and thought. This causes trouble. This causes a question, problem, and trouble, suffering. Only this, nothing else, nothing else. Only this causes us the trouble. When you recognize this, then at the almost same time you recognize this one. See, as what you think about the self or ego. Before you recognize this, what you think about the ego or the self never exists. Never exists. Then you recognize this. Then you, at the same time, you just recognize what you think about the self. The certain the division or certain separation just happen. Then you just try to do that. That's a whole problem. Only this is problem. This causes problem. Okay, so so today's we go back to the text number 72. Then it says what's the Jinen just teaching us is Zen and commandments are one and the same. Oh. This is very easy, but the phrase is such a complicated. But Zen and prefect, commandment will be all right. Exactly oneness. See? Exactly one. No difference. See? Only explanation is different. See? That is, Zen is our true self. The precept is our true, or commandment is our true self. So, however, the thing is, what people thinking about, the precept or the commandment. See, the people just make a rule of what we have to do, what we should do, we must do. Then people try to keep it. or try to do it. This is what people thinking about the precept or the commandment. This is not truth. This is an entirely true, entirely different. What's a true commandment or precept is. You see, as I just mentioned, precept itself is our true self. See, will be understandable. See, when I hold this up like this, you just become what I just did. This is precept, perception. See, without doing anything, you just become what I did. This is a precept. Very easy. You don't need to keep what isn't holding on or attach it. See? When I hold it up, it just become as it is. This is precept. This is commandment. But entirely different from what people thinking about. What, as I just mentioned about, what people think about the precept or the commandment is once people just make rules of what we have to do, what the people have to do, or surrender stuff, then the people just try to do, try to keep, try to whatever as what people just make you rule, make rule. This is another. This is a creation of a thinking also. We never just we never the act or we never act like this way. What we are just acting, what we are acting is without without making a rule of what we have to do, what we should do. We simply act. We simply act. Now this is a precept. This is a precept, and this is a commandment. You may say so. This is what I just said. The three precepts or commandment are entirely different from what the people just think of, what people thinking of the precepts or commandment. That's it. So we go back to the text 72. What the Jinen Roshi, the master Jinen just look at the teachers is excuse me. The commandment have a mysterious function. Commandment, the precepts have a mysterious function. What's the mysterious function is when I hold this is up, something like you simply become what I did. See? This is such a wonderful, such a wondrous thing. See? When I hold this, you just become as this. Why do you have to be? Why you have to act something like this? See, without doing anything, you simply act as it is. That's the reason again just mentioned the commandment is or have a mysterious function. This function is a true ourselves. This function is a true ourselves. Once you just recognize, once you recognize this one as what we think about the self and ego, you never be accept what the end say teachers. As long as you just hold on this one as what you think about the self or ego, you never be able to understand what I just mentioned about living concept, because there is a certain separation. There is a certain separation between this and this. Once this separation drops away, then you'll be able to easily you just accept what the end of just to teach us. Fine. That's the practice. That is practice. That is the practice, doesn't. So the more you just do that, the more you just become as you face it. Oh, this is a very wonderful thing. Eventually, as I just always mentioned, there is no separation. There is no separation between this and this. Oneness. Oneness is through ourselves. Oneness is through us. There is other things being there isn't. There are not the things being recognized, and the person who just recognized. No one, nothing else, nothing else, no one else exists between this and this. Will be understandable. As long as I just mentioned about, as long as you just think about, you think about this one as what you think about the self or ego. Totally impossible to just realize this reality. So the Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just recommend us to do that. If you just really realize this reality, this truth, otherwise impossible. Otherwise impossible. So commandments have a mysterious function. The commandment, excuse me, the commandment are rules. What's kind of rules is when I hold this, it just becomes as I did. This is the rule. You see, without doing anything, you have to do this acting or activity. You have to do it. You never be able to do any other things. But as it is, when you do, it just becomes as it is. This is a rule. This is a rule, and you might say, this is a Dharma. This is a Dharma. You never just you never be able to escape from this reality. You never be able to escape this reality. You never be able to avoid this reality. Simply just act as it is. This is a commandment. This is a precept. When you face the family, excuse me, when you face the family Buddhist altar, you'll be like that right way. When you face the memorial tablet, when you come in contact with flower, you will be like that. One by one, it's each and every moment. The law of cause and effect is perfectly in place without any deviation. This is precept. This is commandment. See, that's the reason this reality or this precepts or commandment are entirely different from what you're thinking about the commandment or precept. Entirely different. See what you think about it, what you think about the precept or commandment. Commandment is just a creation of thinking or thought. That is not true. That is how from the precept and how they are maintained by everyone at all the time. And as I just mentioned, that you never escape. You never be able to escape this reality. This reality is the commandment and the precept. See? These precepts and the commandment is nothing concerned with what people thinking about the commandment and the precept. Totally different. See? So that's the reason. That's the reason the Zen Master Dogen just teach we are complete and universal. We are complete and universal because this precept. Without doing anything, you just become good. You just become good. You just become good. Without doing anything. This is universal activity. This is a universal activity, and this is a complete activity. Complete activity. See? Because without doing anything. In other words, there are nobody what you think about the self or you never enter, never exist. Oh. Maybe understand. Okay. So if you just even if you understand what I just the Zen Master Gian just met the teachers, you do zazen. Simply you do zazen. See? What's zazen is whatever thinking or thoughts just come up in your mind, come out in your mind. Simply release them as there. This is enough. See? Totally any kind of thinking, thought, or idea just come out in your mind without any reason. Without any reason. So you don't need to take care of it. Take care of them. See, at all. However, what people just think about always just thinking or come out. The people just try to deal with, try to figure out so it's caused us trouble, question. Only this, no. See, nothing else, no. Only this causes us trouble, question, problem, suffering, whatever. Yeah. So that we'll be able to just we will be able to be easily saved by ourselves because we just simply release whatever thinking was not to come out in our minds as they. This is totally enough. Only this, only thinking and thought are become a kind of block, kind of hazard, kind of obstacle to realize who you are. You simply listen as they are. Then you'll be able to realize who you are. When you face this, you just become dead. And when you face this, simply you just become dead. When you face this, you just simply what you simply as you face. You see, there is nobody. There is nobody existence. See, there is no one what you think about the self or ego. never exists. Super or totally become as you face. Then you'll be able to just say that, that's it. See, someday, hopefully, someday, this one. See? So that's reason you just simply, sincerely sit, do that until you completely accept this reality. See, without any thinking or thought. See? You can do it, definitely. But it takes us a slight time. For some of the patriots, it took him such as 20 or 30 years. See? Because the attachment of the thinking or thought is so strong. Isn't it? Never easy. It's never easily disappear. See? That's really constantly, continually. You just do zazen, or see, doing zazen, or sitting. Doing zazen, practicing zazen is sitting. Sitting is a basic. See, sitting is a basic. See, but thinking also to come out in a mind, not only sitting, but only whatever you are doing, wherever you are sitting, thinking just to come out in your mind. So if you can do the so-called sitting zazen, so this is a zazen in silence. This is a zazen in silence. In silence, okay. And then you can do zazen, whatever you are doing, whenever you are, wherever you are. This is the zazen in movement. See, you can only you can just release the thinking of thought coming up in your mind. This is not enough. See, the more you can just sitting, the more you can just sitting as it is, then you'll be able to. The more you'll be able to do zazen in movement. See, then eventually you'll be able to just forget about what you're thinking about yourself or ego. There is no separation. There is no separation between that and this. Then you just realize who you are. And that's the reason it takes us such a time. But see, this is a tremendous, you are the variable, the matter for us. So we have to do it. If you want to be completely satisfied with everything, and if you want to feel great ease with everything, you have to do that. Okay, so that's how from the preceptor and how they are maintained by everyone it all the time. That's the reason we don't need to worry about. We don't need to worry about what's happening, what's happened, what's have happened, and what will happen. See? Because again, as just mentioned about the precepts are excuse me, what is it? The precepts. That's how far the precepts are. You see, the precepts is as I mentioned, totally complete, perfect, always. That's the reason you don't need to worry about. See? When I faced, I just become this. See, no separation, oneness. So you never know. You never will be able to know what oneness is. Oneness, you never recognize at all. That is oneness. So that you don't need. You don't know much. You don't know much about what's going on. That's the reason there is no problem at all. See? As long as you know much about what's going on, it's cause you trouble. It's cause you trouble. See? You don't know much about what's going on. What's going on? There is no problem at all. No problem at all. It's easy. It's easy to say that it's quite much difficult, but you try to just do it. Then you'll be able to just completely understand, even in a concept. But I said, right now, see, before recognition, we don't know much about. We don't know much of what's going on here. This is a reality. This is a reality. So then you recognize the kind of the circumstances or condition or state. Then there is a certain separation between this and this. Then a kind of problem, question, or the suffering just come out later. Come out straight. But before recognition, no problem. I know. Oh yes, it's just totally difficult. It's a totally difficult totally difficult to understand, even in concept. Yeah? Because this reality never just come out in your mind, in your concept. That's the reason you never be able to recognize what I just mentioned, but doesn't. And then someday you'll be able to just understand what I just said. Right. That is the first step. then after that, you can do that sincerely, constantly, continually, whenever you are free. Okay, that overview is finished. The precepts are not kept by the person. You see, what you think about the precept is that's creation of thinking. That is not true precepts or a commandment. No, that's a creation within thinking. See, true concept or commandment, you might say, is nothing concerned with thinking or thought. That's original. that's divided. That's provided. That's provided. What you think about the self or ego. You see, before you recognize before you recognize. That's a fundamental, essential thing. Not the creation of thinking or thought. Totally different. Okay. So that's the reason. We don't need to, we don't keep, we don't need to hold or keep, do as what the precept or commandment say. See? Nothing at all. We don't need to. Our activity or action itself is a precept and commandment. We can understand. That's much different. That's the reason. Again, she just say the precepts are not kept by the person. They cannot be broken. They cannot be broken because complete and universal. See, never be broken. Never be broken. This is Dharma. That is Dharma. Dharma never be broken. Dharma is the universe itself. See, you'll be able to you'll be able to break the universe. That's impossible. That's much the precept and the commandments of form. Huge. We can't do anything. We cannot do anything. Okay, they work in such big way. They work. Huh? Where is it? Oh yeah, they work in such a big way. Tremendous, uncountable, incredible way. They're just moving. What we think about a human being, never ever touch it. Okay, if you fail, there is a proper precept of a failure. That's why, in order to avoid failing at something, you have to make sure that you don't fail. Such a it's understandable. See, what it says is okay. Here is the thing. You see, then this just broken. This see broken. What the people just thinking about this one is useless. This one useless. This is entirely different. The entirely misunderstand. Why people thinking about this one is useless? Because the people just memory. Just people memorize before this one broken. You see? People just memorize. Well, people have a memory of before this one broken. See? Then people just take a look at this, say that this one is broken and this one is useless. This is thinking of thought. You see? Because people just know much about the things just before the things broke. Then the things other people just see the face with the things just broken, and people just compare the things. The things was not broken, and the things after things are broken. The people just compare. Then the things was not broken is okay, useful, and the things was broken is that are useful. See, but this is not a reality. See, when this is perfect, the exists, then it's broken. But see, when this one is useless, not the useful things, unuseless things never exist. See, then this one is become useless. But the things, this one is useful, never exist. Never exists. There is something that exists. The things, things it was just useful. Nothing as it is. As it is. That's the reason people are completely deceived by thinking and so. There are two things just happen in your mind. The things is before the things are broken, and the things after things are broken. See? Two things happen, and you just compare, and this one is useful, this one is useless. Totally useless. This kind of people are just already doing. And this causes you trouble. See, never happen. Two things never happen. When this is the useful things, that's it. The things is unuseful. The things are useless things. That's it. See, you have to see. You have to see very carefully. See, your activities are always through thinking as so that you are completely deceived by thinking as so. See, just take a look at it very carefully. You never be deceived. This is very important thing. This kind of comparison just causes us trouble. You see, the thing is, the reality is always one, always one. That's one is never said. Never. That's one. You never say useful or useless, because there is no comparison. There is no. So why can you say this one is useful, this one is useful? Only this one. Only this one. Only this one. See, if any comparison just happen, see, the things just exist as it is. That is nothing concerned with useful, unuseful, useless or useful, good or bad, or like or dislike. Nothing concerned. Just everything just exists this way. Then you just recognize the kind of the two things or three things just happen, and then you just try to compare those things, and then you just say this is useful, this is useless. Entirely misunderstand. Okay. Oh yeah. Eyes and the things, ears and the so things for eyes and ears for sound. Oh no. Eyes, things for eyes, sounds for ears, smell for nose, taste for tongue, body, body and sense. Sense for cold and hot, sense for body, and thinking. Thinking as well. Thinking as well. Just come out. See? All exists. On each occasion, at any given moment, there is not on one soul, one soul discrepancy. The tag question. Yeah. So discrepancy. You see, there is no gap at all. See, in other words, there is no gap at all between this and this. See, when you face this, exactly as it is, without any gap. Why do we have to become like this? This is a whole problem. This is a whole problem. The activity works in the complete. So when I face this, see, the thing is just, I just become as I face without any gap, without any discrepancy. Yeah. Exactly as it is, we just become one. This is a totally a complete and perfect. We don't have any trouble. See, we don't have any because we just become as we face. There is no problem as it is. See, this is an essential, fundamental, our true self. Right. The thing is, you'll be able to just realize this reality or not. This is a whole problem. If you just wanna realize this reality, this truth, you have to do that. You have to do that. Only that. Only that can bring you this reality. Okay. Any given moment, and there are no. And also there are no mistakes. No mistake, because our activity, our true existence is perfect, complete, and universal. That's the reason there are no mistakes at all. Congratulations, Kazan-san. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Very great. There is no need to start over again. See? Always as it is. See? When I face this, I just become this. See? That's it. When I face this, I just become this. That's it. That's it. However, see, however, as far as thinking your thought becomes centered, is centered. The things never just something like this. When I face this, I just become this. Then when I face this, I just become this. And then I just face this and again. See, people say, again. What kind of word? Why this kind of word just come out again? This first time. But people say again. Yeah, totally. See, because I just mentioned about it. People just memorize this before we see. See, we saw it. Then people just memorize that. And when I face this, then I face this, people say, again. This is first time. This is the first time. That's the reason. See? That things never happen twice or three times or four times, only once. Never be deceived. Never be deceived because this function of memory, just move so sensitive and so delicate. That's it. People are completely deceived. Completely deceived. See, when I face this, and then face, the face and the sex, they come out the first time. What do people think about it? Again, again. That's the reason we have to just recognize past, present, and the future. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Always, the things just happen. Always right now, right here. Not past, not future. Always right now, right here. Okay. There is no need to start over again. The wonderful work that we are born with. This function, just the Dharma function, you may say, this essential, the Dharma function, provided before you are born. See? Before you are born. See? This function already provided in what you think about the self or ego. See? Then born. And born. And you just work, or you just act with this Dharma function. This Dharma function is the complete and the universal. So you don't need to worry about anything. Very, very, very congratulations. Okay, to wonderful work that we are born with, we name it precept. That is a true precept. That is a true precept. What you think about, what people think about a precept or commandment is that's a creation of a thinking. So that is another true. Although we don't deny it, but that's the precept. What other people think about the precept or commandment is so tiny. But the precept or the commandment provided before you were born, this is so huge, tremendous, incredible, and uncountable. Okay. Okay, we name it precept. We name it Dharma. We name it Shikan Tazi. Just a sitting. We just think. Just sit without thinking. That's Shikan. Just being, and we name it that way. There are so many explanation for expressing this tremendously huge activity or action. Okay, that's the only name. Nothing different also. That's exactly what we are doing right now. That's a precept. That's a commandment and a way. That's a dharma or whatever. emptiness, or nothing. Emptiness. Oh, that's it. The other is a life as a precept that cannot be destroyed. See? So once you just realize true yourself, once you just encounter true yourself, you never be broken. You never be destroyed by anything. See? That's why your existence is such a huge one. Much bigger than you. Okay. To practice means to let go of everything, no matter what's the condition, and to let go of the whole world that we have. Hold what you just thinking about those things, it's just happening in your mind. That's reason the thinking or thought. You just release the thinking or thought. So you just become what the Jinen Roshi just teaching. Very simple. Only thinking and thought. You just release there. This is enough. This is a zazen. And this way you'll be encountered through yourself. Okay. To practice means to let go of everything. See, everything just come out from thinking, come out by thinking or thought. See, nothing else, only thinking or thought. Everything just happening in your the mind, in your thinking or thought. Any other place, any other things. No matter what the condition, and to let go of the whole world that we have, just thinking. Release the thinking of thought as this is totally enough. This is zazen. That is what it means to master the practice. That's the reason. You'll be able to gain a whole universe. Or more than that. That's the reason. That is why. That is why the people say, or the Shakyamuni Buddha, or the patriarchs say, that is master of practice. Only that you can just gain. You can gain whole universe. All universe. Congratulations. Thank you so much. So maybe 1 month service center again. 1 month service center, but what you have to do is only whenever you are just free, just sit. Says, oh, where is the game? Yari-san. So Kazan-san, only one meter space. One square meter is enough. 1 square meter is enough. Then if you have a kind of round cushion, that is better. If you don't have it, it's all right. Simply sit. Then whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind. Simply release them as it is. That is totally enough. Right. So constantly, continually, you do. Then someday, definitely, you'll be able to just encounter through yourself. This through yourself entirely different from what you're thinking about the self. Other people thinking about the self or ego. The self or ego is just creation by thinking also. That kind of thing never exists. Only exists in your mind. Just existing in your mind. Nothing other at all. Nothing else at all. Right. That's the reason we have to do. Right. Thank you so much. See you next month. See you next month. Congratulations.
Arigato.
Arigato. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.